Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming to our meeting tonight. This is the registration information for parents and students in the class of 2025. We are starting and have a couple of requests. If you would, whenever you come in, this will have a large number of participants. We have everybody on mute. If you would, please turn off your video as well, and that will potentially keep us from lagging if that comes to be. If you have any questions as our presentation goes, we will have counselors in the chat box that will be available to answer your questions. Just go straight into the chat box and type in your question, and they'll be there to take care of you. My name is Kim Klingon, and I am counselor for students whose last names are R through ST. Also in this meeting, we have Miss Chang, and we have Mrs. Hood, and we have Mrs. Lovett. The 11th, Rising 11th and 12th grade meeting is also going on right now. So if you have a student who is a rising 11th and 12th grader, don't fret, we will have the presentations posted for both meetings tomorrow morning. We will also have the handouts posted online as well, so that you can go back and review if anything came up that you have questions, so that you can make sure that you get all of your questions answered. So I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so this is it's our registration meeting for Hebron High School's rising 10th graders in the class of 2025. We will start off by talking about some dual credit and AP. We'll talk about the required classes that students need to take. We'll talk about some next steps that your student will need to take through the registration process, as well as some course options and some methods of delivery, so that you can take the time to decide what classes are the best choice for your student and the right fit for your student. One of the first questions that we're always asked is, what is the difference between dual credit versus AP? And I would like for everybody to know that tomorrow we are going to have an advanced academics meeting, and that is tomorrow at noon, and it's on WebEx. There's a link for you to be able to log in to get some more information about AP dual credit and CTE. The presentation will also be recorded so that your student can watch that at home. Again, it's going to be our counselors who are providing this information, as well as our dual credit our dual credit counselor, and this is a good chance to come on and find out some more specifics. This is just a broad review of the difference between dual credit and AP. Dual credit is taught on campus here through grades 11 and 12. In AP, we offer to all grades 9 through 12. Dual credit allows students to earn high school credit as well as earning college credit at the same time, where with AP, it allows high school students to potentially earn the credit or take the classes to be able to get placement for college courses while they're still in high school. For dual credit, it's guaranteed upon completion of the course in Texas, whereas with AP, a student has to take the test and score a 3 or higher to potentially receive that credit. Dual credit is taught by college instructors and professors, where AP is taught by high school teachers who've been trained by College Board. For courses, they're taught at LISD high school campuses and students can take the classes on the community college campus where AP is only taught through LISD high schools and through VLA. Any student can sign up to take AP classes where with dual credit, students have to meet TSI eligibility. For dual credit, students have to pay for the classes up front, and for AP, the only cost is the cost of the exam. And again, we'll go over more of that at our meeting tomorrow. As students take classes at Hebron and in high school through their high school career, each of these classes are weighted. When we talk about the 4.0 GPA, every class counts in the 4.0 GPA. PE class is going to have the same weight and calculation on a 4.0 GPA, the unweighted GPA, as an AP class is going to have. That is just used to determine the unweighted 4.0 GPA. For weighted classes, these are going to be core classes: English, math, science, social studies, languages other than English, any class that's AP, and academic decathlon also counts as in this weighted system as weighted classes. These classes have a 0, 1, 2, or 3. So when you're looking at the course description guide, it has a level on there, and this tells you what the weight of that class is. For an on-level class on campus or through VLA, those classes are going to be a 1.1 weight, where honors classes have a 1.15, AP, ACTEC, and dual credit classes, that's a level 3, and that's a 1.2. So when you're choosing classes with your students, it's important to take a look at the level of the class to know what that weight is going to be. That number is used to calculate the students' rank in class, how they compare to their peers. So we will let students know what their rank is after the winter break of their sophomore year. If we were to give a rank right now, whenever students have only had 2 to max 4 classes that calculate in that rank, it's not an accurate number. So by having 3 semesters that are calculated into that rank, that spring of their sophomore year is a much more accurate level of what their rank actually is compared to their peers. Back a long time ago, we used to give rank at the end of first semester to 9th graders, and this was before the 9th grade center opened, and we had like 20 students who were all ranked number 1. So it wasn't a good it wasn't a good read of where students actually stood in their rank. So if you want to know when your student will find out the rank, that is after the fall semester of their sophomore year. All right, course selection. We are starting the process early this year. Last year we started it in February. This year we're starting it about a month early. So everything is available online. If it's not there already, then as the materials are being finalized, we are getting it posted on the website post haste. So if you go to hhs.lisd.net and choose counselors, right there on the left-hand side is a link to course selection information, and everything will be there, from the advisory presentations that we've been having to this meeting to all of the registration forms will all be online. So you and your student will be able to be there. If an advisory lesson is missed, then it will be here. They won't have to wait. Your student won't have to wait to go back to class to get that information. It's all there. So this is a timeline so that you have an idea of when everything is going to be happening and what to expect things to happen for your student. So January 20th to 21st, we have an advisory lesson that's academic planning. On the 20th at noon, this is tomorrow, we have our advanced academics and CTE presentation. On the 24th, this is next week, we will have an advisory presentation. It's an advisory lesson, and students will be in advisory preparing for course selection. So they'll have a sheet and they'll be able to pre-fill it out so that on January 25th, this is when students are expected to input their courses and alternates into Skyward during their advisory period. Students will need to select courses totaling 8 credits and 4 alternates, and the alternate courses, we use them regularly. So please put in at least those 4 alternate classes. And we ask students to select courses that they would like to take. February 18th, the VLA and Tech Center counselors will be at H9 to speak with students if they have questions about VLA is the Virtual Learning Academy. Those are our online classes, and TECC, that's the Tech Center. So if your student is interested in doing any of the Tech Center courses, then those counselors will be available to answer questions about the classes and progression and things. February 21 through March 11, we will be meeting with students individually through second period classes to review, correct, and adjust student choices. We're asking students, because so much is going through advisory and we're doing so much preloading, front loading on the planning. We're asking for students to wait until those meetings to ask us questions. What they are entering on January 25th and what they're planning for, this is strictly a wish list. It's not finalized. Students are going to have lots of opportunities to be able to make adjustments to their classes. Again, since we are meeting individually with our students, just put in your classes, put in your choices. This is just a wish list. If things aren't correct, we will make sure that they get adjusted. Again, once the students have chosen their courses, they need to be input in Skyward. They'll select courses in Skyward based on the course number, and all of those directions will be distributed through advisory, and it will be online. So if your student is out because they're ill or because of a soccer tournament or because of basketball or any other reason that they've missed school on the 24th or the 25th, everything is online and everything is open. Will be open. Everything will be open. For core curriculum, students need to take courses in English, Math, Science, and Social Studies. For English, this is for graduation, big survey. We've got 4 English credits taken each year, 4 math credits that should include Algebra 2, 4 science credits, which should include either chemistry or physics, 3 social studies credits. And we definitely recommend that students take both world geography and world history. 4 social studies credits are required for multidisciplinary endorsement, and that is the graduation plan that the majority of our students end up graduating on. They'll come in planning on doing STEM or arts and humanities or other things, but as we all know, life happens and things change and plans change. Multidisciplinary is a graduation plan that every university is familiar with, in-state, out-of-state, everywhere, all over the place. So multidisciplinary endorsement covers anything that your student would like to study in preparation for college. Honors, AP, and regular, as students are thinking about whether to take these honors classes or AP classes or what level to take, we need to think about and ask our students to remember that we can't always guarantee that students will have 2 courses in the fall and 2 in the spring. Because of seating this year as well, while you're making plans, students are not going to be able to double up on math and science. That's not an option this year. And both the math and science department lead teachers recommend that students wait until junior year to do this. So if your student just is sold on doing both geometry and algebra 2 during sophomore year, may need to consider taking a summer school VLA course in order to be able to take that algebra 2 during this school year. But actually taking and having that be the 8 classes where students take double up on math or science, this year that's not going to be an option. I'm sorry. For VLA, speaking of VLA, our district does offer online courses, and the catalog for VLA has just exploded. There are so many options that are out there. The VLA counselors, again, will be at H9 on February 18th at lunch. So if you have any questions about this, make sure that you speak with them. There is a separate choice card because it's so big and there's so many options. They have a separate card that has the VLA classes. We now have them in ELA, Math, Science, Social Studies, Language Other than English. We still have Art 1. And now there is a physics class. So if your student is interested in taking physics, then VLA physics would be an option for your student, where that's never been something that we've had before. So we're excited about the options for virtual courses for students. Their VLA is their own campus. So if you reach out to either the 9th grade center counselors or to us, if you have a question about VLA, we're going to refer you to the website or to their counselor, who is Carrie Gifford, and they are a wealth of information and can answer lots of their questions. So classes can be during the school year. We can do them inside or outside the school day. And if they're inside the school day, the course needs to be first, third, or fourth period. And the expectation is that a student is not on campus whenever they take the classes. If a student takes a class third period and they have a class that's fourth period, we're not going to be able to do that. There's not a supervised place for students to go to take classes. So usually students who have a third period VLA will have a fourth period VLA as well. We can, work with your student on that schedule to be able to try to make that happen. Students are allowed to take 3 VLA courses, so they could do one semester and 2 in the second semester, or they could do 2 the first semester and 1 the second semester. But 2 classes a term is the max, with 3 total for the full school year. If a student takes a class over the summer, then that doesn't count towards the ones that they take during the school year. And we recommend that if a student takes a summer VLA class, that they do 1. And that's because of the pure amount of work that goes in. That's an 18-week class that students are doing in 8 weeks. It's a lot of work. They don't cut off any extra assignments or anything. They're responsible for the full curriculum, and it's mega accelerated. For GT, courses are available for students who received gifted and talented services, and the curriculum that is offered for GT is through honors and AP. There's not a class that's called GT. It's not an elective. It's provided through English, Math, Science, and Social Studies through honors and AP classes. When we create sections in the master schedule, if a class is designated as GT, it is based on student course request. If we don't have enough students who sign up for a GT designated course, then students will be in AP or honors courses, and AP and honors courses have both GT and non-GT students, and the teachers are expected to go through the training to be able to provide the curriculum for our students who qualify for gifted and talented services. So if your student wants to do a designated GT class, please request it. We create the master schedule again based on courses that requested or put into the system. So if we have enough students who request it, then we'll be able to keep offering it. English consistently year after year after year has designated GT sections. So we love to be able to offer that opportunity for our students. All right, a couple schedule examples for your students so that you can have an idea of how schedules might fall out. So this kiddo here is in band. They want to do band, and they have algebra, and they want to do a career center class. So since band goes all year and the career center class takes up 2 periods, band is all year and that career center takes up 2, so that means there's only room for 1 core class during the spring semester. That means that in the fall during marching season, this lovely student has Algebra 2 honors, English 2 honors, and Chemistry honors all at the same time. I'm sorry that particular student fell core heavy, but we got that career center class. That was great. Another example, the student has choir, and choir goes all year and requested 2 electives that happen to have only been taught in the fall. Same situation. We ended up having 3 cores in the spring, and they weren't necessarily cores that that student would have liked to have all had at one time. We try very hard to get students the courses that they request. So that's why another reason why it's important to make sure that the classes that you put in there are what you want. It's highly likely the student would come back and say, well, I really don't want interior design. Like, well, that was your choice. That was your first choice. That was what was there. We honor your requests as they're put in. Okay, so I'm going to get into the core options for our students. For English, English 2 is the class that students take during sophomore year. It can be on-level honors or GT honors, and English 2 is a requirement for graduation. It is a STAR-tested course, and students have to pass that STAR English 2 in order to meet the graduation requirement to walk the stage. For honors English, students need to focus on critical reading. They assume that students are willing to read an extra 25 pages on their own every day to prepare for discussions and written assignments. So that means that likely those 25 pages are not going to be graded, but they're expected to participate in that anyway. And students are expected to independently select and read every day. Students in honors English keep a writer's notebook. They write in all different styles, and students participate in Socratic discussions and other discussions, and they're responsible for critical thinking. Honors English is an excellent class that prepares students for college-ready work. For 10th grade math, there are several options for this. Geometry is the math that a student takes if they took algebra or algebra AB in the 9th grade, and it can be either on level or honors. Algebra 2 is taken in 10th grade if you took geometry in the 9th grade, and again, it can be on level or honors as well. For honors geometry, a lot of times we'll have students who come up and they enjoyed math in the 9th grade, so they want to challenge themselves to do an honors class or several honors class or 4 honors classes their sophomore year whenever they hadn't taken the honors level their freshman year. So we never discourage students from challenging themselves. However, we do have some recommendations for levels of classes. Recommendation number 1 is talk to your students' math teacher from freshman year or core teachers from freshman year to get their recommendations. We can look at the transcript and make recommendations based on numbers that are on that transcript, but talking to that teacher knows your student, that teacher was with your student for 18 weeks and can give you a better idea of what classes your student should take. So if a student took algebra AB, it is not recommended that they take honors geometry. The pace, instead of it being all year, is 18 weeks, and the curriculum is much more advanced. It's really not recommended for a student who took the all year algebra. It is recommended that students in Algebra 1 have had a B average in either regular or honors, and students need to be ready to work, and they need to be ready to do daily work every day. And the expectation is that students will do their work, the projects, the quizzes, and their tests, everything in order to do that, to be prepared for that geometry work. For honors algebra 2, the recommendation is that students had a 90 or better in algebra 1 or algebra 1 honors, and it is not recommended for students who took algebra AB all year. There is a summer assignment that is not posted yet. It will be posted on the summer assignments page on the main website, not on the counseling page, but on the main website for hhs.lisd.net. The tests, one of the hardest things that students have making this transition is that tests are free response. They are not multiple choice. So students have to be ready to go in and show all of their work and know that it's not going to be a multiple guess opportunity. Students generally don't use calculators. There are times that the TI-85s are used, but in general, they want students to show all of their work and be able to provide everything that they've done, to be able to show the thought process in answering questions. review problems. Will cover the same concepts. It has the same homework as regular Algebra 2, but there is supplementary work that goes with it. So if homework in person or in the on-level class is 30 minutes, it's going to be 30 minutes plus extra work on top of that. Excuse me. So students who are successful in there have a strong work ethic. They're self-motivated and organized. In general, their parents aren't checking up saying, have you done this? Have you done this? You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And having that constant follow-up. In general, the students who are successful in that honors Algebra 2 are focused and may need a little shuffling to be able to get in that right spot, but are on track to be independent in their classes. For social studies, if world geography is taken in the 9th grade, then social studies is not required for the 10th grade. And I'm saying this with asterisks in there because some colleges colleges and some high school endorsements will require that 4th social studies, and it can come from any combination of classes under the social studies curriculum. So if they took world geography, they don't have to do world history, but we strongly encourage to do a social studies class, and that world history is a fantastic class, and you don't have to worry about it being split. Scheduling, it's always there, and it's a good class to have. A lot of times we'll have students who, I'm going to graduate on STEM, I'm planning on doing cosmetology, there are all of these things that I want to do. I want to be in band for 4 years, so I'll do humanities, and then all of a sudden they decide that those programs aren't important anymore, they want to go into a different field. Well, then we have to go back and try to pick up that social studies. So it's a good idea to go ahead and get that out of the way early. I've never had anybody regret taking world history. So it's a good class to have. World history can be taken on level or through AP or through GTAP. And additional on-level social studies electives, these are the ones that I was talking about. It's psychology, sociology, street law, personal financial literacy, history of Africa and African Americans, history of the world after World War II, Hebrew scripture, and New Testament. All of those are half credits, so putting 2 of those together will equal 1 social studies credit. The downside to choosing 2 is that they don't always pair together. Psych and Soc in general will pair together, but sometimes it'll be full because when the auto scheduler comes in, then they don't pair together and it's overloaded. And there's no rooms for students to go in there. So if a student picks the 2 social studies electives to go together, they need to pick a couple of additional ones as alternatives so that they're okay with psychology and street law is fine. So that way we can go on ahead and have some options to pair up those social studies classes. And again, world history is the #1 choice that students choose. These are just some alternatives for being able to do that. World history AP. This is designed to have the rigor for a student who is a college freshman. So if your student took on-level world geography or took no world geography class as a freshman year, it's important to ask yourself and to do an evaluation. Is your 15/16-year-old prepared for college level coursework? The coursework in the WAP class is taught on at the level of a college freshman. Students are expected to write essays at a college level. They're expected to participate in discussions and read documents at a college level. There is a substantial amount of time commitment for homework and study groups, et cetera, outside of the class day. Students are expected to come in for tutorials if they are not keeping up, because this is a learning process. Students are learning how to learn. So coming in for tutorials is critical critical if a student is struggling in world history AP. And the first 3 to 6 weeks of class are challenging because students are learning the skills that they need in order to be successful. It is a transition for most students. It's their very first AP class that they've ever had, unless they took AP Spanish previously. Then that WAP class is their very first AP class that they've taken. So it's really that first bullet is number one, most important. It's the number one that I ask whenever a student says, or a parent asks me, should I take WAP? Are you ready to be a college freshman? Are you ready to do that college level coursework? For some students, and for many students, the answer is yes. You just need to figure out what the right choice is for your family. Successful participants, again, have excellent time management. They're self-motivated. They love that academic challenge. They're really good at study skills and taking notes, and they put learning at equal to or above that grade level. So a lot of times this is our students' very, very, very first C. So that's important to evaluate. Is that C going to be acceptable, or is the learning what's most important? Because for many families, learning how to learn, learning how to be successful, learning how to hold yourself at that higher level is just as important or more important than that actual number grade. Now, with all of this said, if a student took the AP Human Geo as a freshman, and then they've already gone through this, so it's a little bit different. It's a continuation of the level that you were experiencing in that Human Geo class. For science classes, there are several options for students who are in 10th grade. We have IPC, which is integrated physics or chemistry, or physics. These are all classes for 10th graders. IPC is taught as an on-level class. It's integrated physics and chemistry. It's an introduction to both classes. For students have to take physics or chemistry at some point in time. IPC counts as what would be like a third or fourth science option. We had a lot of students this fall term who went straight into chemistry, where IPC would have been the recommended class and was the recommended class. So we've had quite a few students who've struggled in chemistry this school year. People think of chemistry, oh, I did biology. I did fine in biology last year. Well, chemistry has a lot of math in addition to that science. So when students are looking at which class should I take, IPC is fantastic because students get to take both physics and chemistry and say, okay, well, I did better at physics, or I did better at chemistry. And then as a junior, whenever they've had an additional year of math or an additional year of science, then take that chemistry or physics class as a junior. So when you're looking at IPC chemistry or physics, number one, talk to your 9th grade biology teacher to find out what the recommended class is. And 2, are you a strong math or science student? And then IPC or chemistry would generally be the choice. If a student took Algebra A, B, as a 9th grader, then IPC is the class that we automatically schedule students in for their science class, and that's because it's more of a survey class and allows students the opportunity to experience both of those without the rush of going into 18 weeks of heavy chemistry, stoichiometry, and all those other fun topics that they cover in chemistry. Physics, we recommend. Physics and physics honors we recommend for junior year. Some students insist that physics is what they want to do because they're thinking about engineering or thinking about something along those lines. I think I had 2 sophomores this year who signed up for physics, and both of them contacted me the first week and asked to change back to chemistry. Physics and physics honors are pretty heavy with algebra too. So if you took algebra 1 as a ninth grader, again, chemistry would be the algebra or geometry as a freshman, then chemistry would really be the recommended class to take. When we have a conference, if your student signs up for physics, we're going to ask your student, are you sure that physics is the class that you really want to take? And because it's generally IPC or chemistry that's the class that's chosen as a sophomore. Again, some high school endorsement requirements have chemistry or physics. The endorsement that requires both chemistry and physics is the STEM endorsement. Students have to take both of those for STEM. So students just need to plan on taking both of them if they're on the STEM endorsement. Some college programs like students to take chemistry and physics. Oh, who am I kidding? Almost every college likes to see students take both chemistry and physics. But for graduation, students don't have to do both unless they're on the STEM endorsement. If a student is taking honors chemistry or honors physics, again, same thing. It's important to have a strong math and science grades. If students have C's in their math and science classes, we're going to recommend IPC as the class. A's and B's, we're going to be looking at either chemistry or honors chemistry. Students have to take language other than English classes, LOT classes for graduation. We recommend that students, if they don't take it as a freshman, that they go on ahead and take it as a sophomore. In general, if a student takes it in 9th or 10th grade, you're college bound and you're ready to, get that out of the way so you can do your additional classes junior and senior year. It's important that students have a strong grasp of English language. Every class, it doesn't matter if it's sign language or Spanish, students need to, or Latin or French, students need to memorize and retain vocabulary and dialogue. Students will be required to speak in timed situations and with timed speeches. With sign language, that's just not speaking with their mouth, it's speaking with their hands and with body language. So it's still doing timed situations and timed speeches. And the expectation is that students have good reading and listening skills. Students have to have 2 credits of the same language for graduation. And since we're on block schedule, level 1 falls in the fall and level 2 falls in the spring. If your student signs up and says, oh, I'll do 1 in the fall and I'll just do 2 my junior year, well, that means that they would have 1 in the fall and then 2 wouldn't fall until spring of their junior year. Losing the material is a real thing, that slide. So we don't have a whole lot of success with students who will wait a calendar year between completing level 1 and then starting level 2 of that same language. So it's best to take both credits in 1 year. If your student hasn't addressed for a language other than English yet, then strongly consider addressing it during your sophomore year. For Tech East and Tech West classes, these are CTE, Career and Technical Education classes. We used to call this Dale Jackson and Career Center East. So if somebody says, oh, well, you're going to you want to go to Dale Jackson or you want to go to Career Center East, well, those aren't the names anymore. It's Tech East and Tech West. The classes are all double blocked for 2 class periods. They'll either take 1st and 2nd or 3rd and 4th, and it will either be fall or spring at the additional campus. There are buses that will take them from our campus to the other campus. We've had lots of students who come in and say, oh, well, I don't want to do those classes. They signed up for them. They were chosen for the classes. They're highly selective. And then it's like, oh, well, I didn't realize that I was going to have to leave campus. So remember, if a student is taking a class at a Tech East or Tech West, they will be leaving our campus and going to another campus to do those classes and then coming back here again. If your student is 16 years old and older and drives, then they can drive themselves to the campus and back again, but we do have bus transportation that is there. If your student signs up for it, We aren't having elective changes, so it's possible that they may be over there and stay. So they're fantastic elective courses. If your student is interested in pursuing something after school, whether it's at college or through a 4-year school or a 2-year school or through a tech school, we have lots of programs that are available that can give some background knowledge for those programs before you go and spend money in college and at post-secondary programs. Again, we will have the Tech West and Tech East counselors at the 9th grade center to talk to your students. And tomorrow at noon, we have the advanced academics meeting, and Mrs. Lovett will be talking at length about the Tech East and Tech West programs. From this, it's remembering for registration purposes, the classes are double blocked. The classes are not on our campus, so students will need to leave our campus. Yeah, and they're just fantastic opportunities for your kids. The PSAT is offered to our 10th graders in the fall, and all 10th graders take it. Our district pays for all 10th graders to take this test. It's given in October, and depending on students' scores, they'll be invited to do the PSAT class during their 11th grade year. The 10th grade PSAT it's for practice. It's to give you an idea of how your student will perform on the SAT. The 11th grade PSAT, a fall of their junior year, that is the one that is used to determine national merit status, which is beneficial for scholarships in college. So whenever it's time for your student to take the test, there will be a practice booklet that's out. This is just to give you an idea of where they stand, but it gives you some great information. And students who take the PSAT will have in their College Board account an analysis of how they did, and they'll develop. College Board, along with the Khan Academy, develops a study guide that will help your student to prepare for that 11th grade PSAT for potential national merit and the National Merit Program. The Hugh O'Brien Youth Hobie Summer Leadership Program is a program that is available to our sophomores. There will be an application that Mrs. Hood will be sending out to families in the fall of next school year. This is an opportunity for students to go and do this summer program, and it's not only does it look great on a resume, but it gives your students some training to be able to be a leadership. And all of the program costs are covered by us. We had an alternate a couple years ago, and they had to pay for themselves to go. But our person who is picked, it's covered by we pay for it. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that application will come out, because the application's in the fall before the summer program. So there's a long time between that application and actually going. So students forget that, oh, this is something that I can do, and it's for summer. So just parents, please keep that on your radar to remind your student to sign up for it. SAT and ACT. This slide is more for information purposes. We recommend that students take their SAT or ACT their junior year as close to finishing their math class as possible. If we had a traditional schedule, then we would say it would be the spring of 11th grade, but sometimes that Algebra 2 or pre-cal class falls in the fall. It's important to take the test as close to finishing that math class as you can junior year. If a student takes it as a sophomore, then may not have had as much math as you could have had to be able to maximize that score. And English. There's a lot of learning that happens in the English class in preparation for the SAT and ACT. Tests are on certain Saturdays during the school year. We are not a testing site. With that said, though, over the last 2 school years, and I don't know if it's going to continue next year or not, we're constantly reevaluating it. The district is constantly reevaluating it. The school district has paid for students to take either one SAT or one ACT during the school year. During junior year, it's the ACT, and it's during the spring of junior year, and during the fall of senior year, it's the SAT that has been offered. So they don't necessarily fall in a time that your student would want to take it to maximize that English and math score, but it's an opportunity that we've offered on campus that may or may not continue during your students' junior and senior year. For tests that are not the ones that we offer on campus, there are fee waivers that are available for students who are on free and reduced lunch. And again, those are available during junior year. So if your sophomore comes down and says, oh, I want to do the SAT, I'm on free and reduced lunch as a sophomore, yeah, we're going to have to wait until junior year for that. So, but you'll make sure you keep your counselor in the loop on that. We will be having conferences with every student this school year. Last year with COVID, it limited that a little bit, but we're going back to meeting individually with our students. It's so important. So we're going to have a chance to chat, and it will be during second period classes between February 21st to March 11th before spring break to discuss the classes that your student picked and to make those adjustments. It's key to remember that what students put in on January 25th is strictly a wish list. If everything is 1,000% wrong, that's okay. We are going to go back and say, no, sweetie, you need to do A, B, C, D. This is what we've picked. Oh, you want to sign up and you want to play soccer? That's so fantastic. Here's the coach's information. You need to have your tryout before we can put you in the program. So this is about the wish list, and this is about putting in the alternates as well. We will have an opportunity to meet with every student, and we're really excited about that. Parents, please allow your student to input these classes. We are going to have the advisory meetings where we have students look at their transcript and look at the graduation requirements and be able to fill that out to see what they need. So they don't need to contact their counselor at the 9th grade center and say, hey, what classes do I need to sign up for next year? No. We're going through that in advisory so that they can learn to plan, learn to be independent, and learn to take some ownership of what the classes are that they need to have to graduate. So again, January 25th, they'll have all of their classes in there, but plenty of chances to change them. Now, plenty of chances to change it, but as soon as that school year ends, because there are so many chances to change schedules, classes are set and schedules are set for the school year once the school year begins. Those classes that are put in on January 25th, those numbers and requests go to the district, and they tell us about staffing and what classes we're going to be able to offer based on those requests in the different areas. So once the school year ends and we have those numbers set, we can't just change requests whenever school year starts. There are some opportunities to make changes though. So if there's an error in the schedule or if there's a program change, then we're going to change it. So if your student took Principles of Human Services as a freshman and it's on the schedule in the fall, we're going to change that. If your student wants to drop basketball and we're going to change that. If they want to add ROTC, we're going to change that. We're going to make those adjustments for your student. What will not be changed is, oh, I really didn't want psychology and sociology. I want interior design. Well, we can't do that. Those classes were full and chosen at that point, but we will definitely change errors that come up for sure. Another thing that we can't do is we can't do teacher requests if that's Pandora's box there. So if we went in and made teacher changes, then the floodgates would be open and we would have all kinds of changes for teacher requests. The teachers are certified to be in the classes. They are appropriate teachers for the classes. This is an excellent opportunity for students to learn how to work with people who may have different personalities than they have. They can have conferences with those teachers. It's important to let the teachers know that this is how I learn. I'm having a difficult time learning from you. I'm having a different time understanding. What can we do? A good example is in the math department. They have tutoring for multiple teachers. So if a student has Ms. Asmar for Algebra 2, they can go to Coach Pyron for tutoring. So even though they have one teacher for instruction, well, all those teachers plan together. So it's okay to go to a different teacher for tutoring. That's expected. Chemistry is exactly the same way. They plan together. They do. You can go to any of those teachers for tutoring, and it's great. Another class that won't be changed is a change from honors to AP. That's only at the 9 weeks and only if an academic need is shown. Academic need means that there's a failure or an almost failure and the student's been attending tutorials regularly and there have been conferences and there's been all kinds of things and it's an inappropriate placement at the 9 weeks. This is different from the 9th grade center where changes are made at the 3 weeks. We aren't making those changes on our campus because we don't have the seats in the on-level classes to be able to make those happen. So students need to stay in for 9 weeks so that the other classes can change and adjust. And frankly, if a student ends up with a grade in the 80s, then we are going to encourage your student to stay in because a B in an AP class, that's awesome. Keep that going. Keep it rolling. You're learning, and that's great. And again, elective changes, we aren't making those. So to wrap up, all students need to enter their classes in Skyward and advisory on the 25th. We'll have planning and advisory tomorrow, Friday, and on the 24th. In preparation for that on the 25th, specific questions will be addressed whenever we view course requests in Skyward. So if a student puts in to math classes, well, we can't double up on math this year. So what's your plan going to be? We'll take a look at those and start cleaning them up. We're going to use that time between the 25th and when our conferences start to do some of that cleanup. Please access the website and know that we're sending all kinds of emails and posts in Skyward and Twitter through Ad Hoc's counselor. We send updated information on registration then. This is a hot and heavy time for us and for your students. So all student and parent information sessions are going to be posted on the website. So if you need to come back and rewatch this and see it, it's going to be there. And also this presentation, I'll have that on the website as well tomorrow morning. And all materials for registration will be posted on the website for review. We already have all of the elective choices on there. We have the Tech Center courses on there. The VLA information sheets already on there. The Rising Sophomore core course selection sheet, that's already on there. Almost all of the information that is available for you to preview now. It's there for you to take a look. Okay, so that is it for my presentation. Let me get this off here, stop sharing my screen. We have chat going and we'll stay online for about another 5 or 10 minutes or so and continue to answer questions as they come up. We really, really appreciate the time that you spent coming to hear about all of this. We know it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much information coming at you right now, and we're more than happy to help. Counselors, are there any questions that we can address for the good of the group that have come up?
Kim, somebody just asked, could you please discuss the PSAT class? Is it for students who scored really well on the 10th grade PSAT, or is it for students?
Yes, the PSAT class is a program that is for students who scored high on the 10th grade PSAT. The administration gives us a cutoff score every school year, and then there's 50 to 75 students who are invited to participate in the PSAT class. There is an SAT prep class that's available to juniors as well. It just doesn't have a summer component. It's the same curriculum. It just comes the next 9 weeks. And the plan is for students to be ready for the SAT or ACT instead of being ready for the PSAT. And the biggest part is the summer component that goes with it in preparation for the PSAT. And it's the spring of sophomore year that students receive that invitation. Our Language 1 class is only offered in the fall. Yes, Language 1 classes are only offered in the fall term as in-person classes. Now, through VLA, there are options for students to take a level 1 in the spring, but that is not on campus. It's off campus. So students can do it either first, third, or fourth period through VLA, through virtual classes. It looks like, I don't know if anybody's answered this one yet, but it says which AP classes are offered for 10th graders other than AP World History. AP World History is offered for 10th graders, and if a student took Spanish, then they can do Spanish 3 honors in the fall and then 4 AP in the spring. And it's the same with the other languages as well, French, and we're going to try to offer Latin again, Latin 3 and 4. Fine art and PE. Again, I don't know if somebody had answered that already. Students are required 1 credit for fine arts and 1 credit for PE for graduation. Yes, biology AP is offered in 10th grade. And it is a year-long class as well. The list of electives is on the Hebron Counseling website.
Yes.
On our
we keep getting that same question. Everything is posted on the HHS counseling website. If you just go there and if you click on the tab on the side that says course selection information, it's going to take you and you will be able to see everything that all of the questions are coming about. The course selection sheets are there. The career and technology course selection sheets are there. There's a link with VLA courses that are offered. So everything, it is your one-stop shop for all information.
And I am pulling this up right now. So on the Hebron website, hhs.lisd.net, so on hhs.lisd.net, if you scroll down and go to counseling, it has on the left-hand side here, course selection information. And this is where everything is going to be posted on this page. So if you scroll down here to the bottom, it has course selection documents. The registration planning organizer, your students are going to receive this in advisory, so you have an opportunity to review it if you'd like to see it. We also have the Rising Different Grade course selection sheets, Rising 10th grade course selection sheet. This is the one that your students are going to need. And this is what it looks like. This also has a link to the course description guide where students can see examples or samples of the classes, not samples, excuse me, descriptions of the classes. And also it has a link to the VLA course card. And then this has Hebron High School elective options. It used to be that we had just the little one pager that had the classes listed, and then we had a one pager with the tech classes, and then just a little blurb with the VLA classes. But now there's so many electives for Hebron and for the tech centers, and since there's 2 campuses for that one, and for VLA, everybody has their own elective sheets. So the Hebron High School elective options page pulls up, and your students are going to get links to this also. This has all of the electives that are available on our campus, and if you go over on here, this has the courses on it and the course numbers. And again, for Tech Center, there's a little link in here for the Tech Center course cards as well. Does that help? Is that there? Does that answer the question?
I think that's great that you showed everybody that.
Good.
I think we've gotten all of the questions answered.
Okay. Okay, we really appreciate your time coming and listening to our presentation. There's so much that's out there and so much to take in and opportunities. Again, I will post this presentation on the website as well as the handout. So all of the slides that I had posted, I'll have those that are on there, and I'll put on the slide a link to the on the presentation. I'll put a link to get to the website to get to that page as well, since that's something that we want to make sure that everybody has and is able to utilize. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and close this off.